Thank you. Medical experts have expressed alarm over new guidelines allowing ADHD medication to be prescribed to kids under the age of 7. Now, the National Health and Medical Research Council has approved giving Ritalin to preschoolers, despite the drug companies actually warning against it. So Sunrise GP Dr Ginny Mansberg joins me now. Good morning to you. Are you concerned by this? Kids under 7?
Yeah, but it's been happening for ages anyway.
Really?
Yeah. Look, the guidelines have now kind of maybe not endorsed it, but said, look, if all else fails, it is an option. But it's been an option anyway. I think what's important is that they've stated up front that you have to start first with all of the other therapies, and only if they fail do you consider medication.
So given the manufacturers have had a warning and they've said that under 7s the side effects could be worse than for older children, why, if the manufacturers say don't do it, would the guidelines say do?
There's a funny game that drug companies have to play to get their drugs approved in Australia and overseas, and so they have to submit very strong data. It's just easier to get data for kids over 7. So it's not that they have evidence that it's harmful in kids under 7, they just haven't done the studies. And the Therapeutic Goods Administration being responsible, saying, look, if you can't show us that you've got safety and efficacy, in other words, meaning it works, data for children under 7, we can't approve it for under 7. It's not necessarily a warning that it's a terrible thing. They just haven't done the studies.
Is it monitored really, really closely? Because I guess my concern is obviously a child under 7 to go on the medication you would assume clearly needs it. But what about starting at that age? Is there a fear that they could then stay on it for longer or not come off it as readily?
They shouldn't. I mean, it's only ever approved for short term. They're meant to have reassessments every 6 months. You cannot get approval for it unless they've been shown to be benefiting from it. That's what you have to tell, when you ring up for phone approval. So it shouldn't really be happening like that they get put on it at 3 and then at 18 is still on it. That doesn't happen.
Oh, good. OK. The guidelines say psychological, environmental and family interventions should be trialled before prescribing, which is what you said. So that does happen. You're assuring me
that... No, it doesn't happen. I think that's the biggest controversy because it's expensive. There's no access to these sorts of treatments. Parents can't afford these sort of very expensive, intensive treatments one-on-one. And so in theory, all of these kids should be getting help in the school, parental therapy, family therapy, one-on-one psychological intervention.
Is it quicker and easier to give them a pill?
Absolutely, and it's more accessible and it's far cheaper. I mean, parents can't afford to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every year on these therapies for their kids. They would if they could, but they don't have the money.
Gee, that's sad.
I think that's one of the controversies, is that we don't fund it as a community.
Yeah.
And so that these parents are left to, there's drugs or nothing, or their kids are going to have incredible educational disadvantage. These kids can be really disruptive in the classroom and they don't learn, and they're just difficult kids to parent as well.
Yeah. Which makes it then hard for the other children in the family, for the parents, for the teachers, for their classmates.
Yeah, something has to happen, but unfortunately the best therapies are often not available.
Okay. Thanks, Ginny. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.